Alright, so we've got ourselves a blue post here, boys. Talk about the official hardcore realm rules for WoW, and I got some thoughts. I'm sure you guys will as well. I got a lot of thoughts, actually. I'm extremely excited for these goddamn official servers. These have dampened my excitement just a little bit. I gotta be honest, I don't want to be a doomsayer, I don't want to be all pessimistic. Will I still be playing these official hardcore servers when they eventually roll out? Yes, I will. Very, very likely. But that's not to say that I'm not as hyped as I could be. You know what I'm saying? I really felt like Blizzard have the power that the add-on makers didn't have to make hardcore the way that it should be, and I think that I think that they've taken some awesome steps towards that. I really do. Right? They've made it so that it's much harder to accidentally flag yourself for PvP. For one, I think that that's great. Just reduces griefing by a lot. They've kind of just disabled battlegrounds, as far as I could tell, so that's a thing as well. Also, danger leashed. They've made it so that, most creatures will leash and reset when leaving the area or zone they were engaged in. A lot of people would grief by dragging like an elite mob across Azeroth towards where a streamer is or whatever, and greet the hell out of people. Yeah, I mean, it's funny for like, it's funny like the first time you watch it, then after that you kind of think, oh, okay, bro, like it's going a little bit too far now, it's a little bit dumb. Shouldn't really be happening. It's not going to happen. Grand, There's a lot of awesome stuff like that. There are some dungeon changes that they've gone ahead and made, which I'm not sure what I think about. What's going to be going down is, instead of the current hardcore rules, where you are only able to queue for a dungeon one time on a character, and so if you get like the perfect item drops during that run, it feels awesome, it feels grand. And if you don't, well, at least you got the experience and hopefully you didn't die. Moving on, It made dungeons and the stakes in the dungeon feel so much better and so much higher and so much more intense, when hoping for drops. Whereas now, dungeons are basically going to be a 24-hour lockout, right? They kind of described it as it's almost like a heroic dungeon. You get to queue once per day, but you can queue the same dungeon 7 times across the week if you want to, Yeah, I don't know. Sucks a little bit, but only a little bit. I don't think that this is like game breaking. It's sort of whatever, It's just not the biggest deal. I preferred the older system. I preferred the add-on version of the way that dungeons are handled. This one a little bit inferior in my opinion, but I guess it just is what it is. There's a lot of stuff here that's kind of there's the duel to the death as well. This is kind of exciting. This is just going to make for some awesome content, to be honest, for the streamers. That's basically who this is for, Let's be real, right? The duel to the death is, it's exactly what it says in the tin, It's going to be awesome. There's going to be like tournaments set up around this and all kinds of crazy nonsense, There's going to be ways that you can even earn special buffs and like achievements and stuff, right? For farming ears from other players. Like, this is awesome. This is what I'm talking about, man. This is the kind of change that Blizzard can make that the add-on can't really pull off in the same way, This feels really, really cool. I like it a lot. I think that the issues start to emerge when certain issues are just not getting tweaked. One of those is world buffs. So right now, as it stands, obviously in the add-on version of Hardcore Classic, world buffs are just a thing. You just have to kind of accept the fact that they're going to pop up every now and again on your server and make your character just like super OP for a little while. And it just is what it is. It sucks. Why does it suck? Okay, I get it. Blizzard are trying to make out like, okay, like the devs are trying to make out like it's this really cool power spike that you can get and that you can abuse and you can use it to blast through a zone that would otherwise be really tough while you have the well buff active. And but yeah, the problem for me is that it's just unearned power. Like, your character didn't do anything, and now you're super OP, and quests that would otherwise be challenging, and now we're going to become trivial for a little while. I just think that overall, it's just a net negative. Why not just have whale buffs only affect level 60s? It just feels like pretty obvious to me, So this was the first thing that was brought up. It's not actually even mentioned in this blue post, by the way. If I control F world B, yeah, it's not even mentioned in the blue post, but it was confirmed in an interview with the devs, performed by Big Sath. Yeah, it's confirmed. World buffs are just going to be a thing on this official hardcore server, and I kind of hate it. I don't know. Maybe I hate it a little bit more than I should. What do you guys think? Maybe I'm just being a little bit, I'm just being a sensitive little petal. You know what I mean? But the next kind of red flag that was thrown up is that there was nothing actually mentioned in anywhere in this blue post as to how grouping is going to be handled. Besides the fact that obviously you can't join a group with like a super high level player and then join a dungeon. It's just not going to work like that. You're not going to be able to do that. Boosting is not going to be a thing in dungeons and stuff, so that's grand. But can you just level as a 5-stack? Outside of dungeons? I don't know, man. It seems like the lack of information on that is starting to worry me a little bit. It's entirely possible that I've just completely missed that. And maybe it's being confirmed that you that it's the way that it is with the add-on, right? Where you either pick to play as solo, duo, or trio, and then you're locked in. Either you complete the challenge like that, or you don't, right? You either complete the challenge or you die, right? As either solo, duo, or trio. And that's that. Whereas now, can you just play as a 5-stack and just like spank really difficult quests? Like on the official servers? I don't know, man. Again, maybe this has already been confirmed as that it's not going to be a thing that's allowed. I really hope so, because I sort of feel like that's hardcore. You know, it is what it is. If like most people are going to be playing solo, and the prestige of nailing these quests alone is like the game when it comes to hardcore. You know, that's it. That's the challenge right there. If you can just queue up as with like 4 other guys, or rather group up with four other guys outside of a dungeon and just start mopping up quests in an area. I don't know. That sucks a lot. So that's got me a little bit worried. Another thing that has me disheveled. This for me like is by far like one of the biggest problems that I've had so far. And I get where Blizzard are coming from, right? The devs are talking about, okay, we're going to allow trading and auction house usage because this is going to be a brand new server and everyone's starting from the same position economically and it's going to be a clean slate and da-da-da-da-da. So we don't want to limit that as part of the game. You know, if people want to make gold and buy some of their gear and stuff, that could be cool. Yeah, it could be cool for like the first month or two. After that, it's just going to be auction house mafia. And that is what it is. You know? It's also going to be extremely lame to pick up a green item that doesn't quite suit your class or your spec, or maybe it's just not quite good enough for your current character. And what, you just mail it to a bank? You just mail it to like a bank character and you just save it for your next run. You know? That's just lame, dude. That's just like, dude, that really sucks to me, okay? The fact that as well, like, can we also just talk about for a moment that streamers are now just going to be sent like loads of gold? You know, and Mitch Jones is going to get all of the bags you could ever, like, he's just going to be swimming in bags from his viewers. You know? That's lame, dude. Like, the streamer privilege is going to be so real. And, like, I feel like 80% of the joy of hardcore comes from watching streamers do stupid stuff and die horribly and blah, 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 you know? I don't know. I don't like this. I think it sucks. I think that solo self-found is the only way to go. It's a thing in Diablo because it feels extremely good to nail your own gear. And when, like, a really sweet piece of gear drops, you get that huge dopamine hit because you know this is hardcore mode, and that piece of gear could last you for the next 10, 15 levels, and it's so goddamn powerful, right? And it feels awesome. I just think that being able to buy stuff for gold, trade stuff, like, for nothing even, between guildmates and things like that, is just gonna really diminish the dopamine hit that you get from looting just the perfect item at the perfect time, you know, at the perfect level. And this really ties in with being able to do a dungeon every single day as well. I just feel like the whole idea of queuing into the world solo and surviving off like the back of your own ass, you know? That's not even a phrase, I've just made that up, but you know what I mean? Like, surviving via your own tools and stuff is what hardcore's all about, and it feels ambiguous right now as to whether or not that same feeling is going to actually be carried over from the add-on version to the official version, giving that there may or may not be no constraints on grouping outside of dungeons. Again, I might be wrong about that one. But what is a certainty at this point, at least, is that trading and auction house usage to kind of pimp out your character is just really going to be a thing. Now, they did talk about in a Sath's interview, they did talk about the idea of giving your character something like a buff of, like, recognition as to if your character does not engage in any kind of trading with other characters, be it by mail, trading, or auction house, right? You are playing a solo self-found character. You might get some kind of buff or like a achievement for hitting level 60 if you maintain that from 1 to 60, you know? Please do that, Blizzard. Jesus, I feel like everybody would do that, man. I feel like everybody would do that. Because at the end of the day, like, if you're gonna hit level 60, especially for the streamers, bro. Like, if they hit level 60 and their characters just absolutely pimped out the entire way because of streamer privilege, you know? Like, no one's gonna give a damn about the way that they're playing the game. Maybe I'm wrong about that for the average player, by the way. Maybe the average player would still just say, screw it, I'm just gonna engage with the auction house. I don't care about doing the hardcore way, you know? Just hitting level 60 is good enough for me, and you know what, fair enough. I wouldn't look down on players who do that. But for me personally, hardcore should be hardcore. Solo self-found is the way to go. That's just my goddamn opinion. Maybe you agree, maybe you don't. But yeah, that's the feeling that I like to get. So, they do chat a lot about being open to suggestions. Make sure that you make your feedback known going into the PTR. And the reason I mention that is because the official hardcore realms are actually going live on the PTR tomorrow. So it's coming extremely soon to the PTR, so we can actually hop on there and test it out and to see what's what, and get a feel for how things feel, you know? Yeah. Will any of our feedback that we give make any difference at all? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. Let me know what you guys think down below, man. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. And I'll catch all of you guys just a tad bit later.